Welcome everybody. So today we're going to do a landscape, watercolor landscape. Last time I actually there you go. I did this sketch. This one was made in Kansan, okay, mixed media, and I used this notebook for sketches. So now that I have an idea of how am I going to finish or do my painting, I'm going to go and transfer, or better say not transfer, but do the same thing but in a more absorbent paper. So the paper that I'm using is Watercolor stretch more paper. This one comes in a block and is useful for both practice and also for paintings. So I'm just gonna do a little kind of like just a bit slanted for me because it's gonna help me see the entire painting. So I'm just gonna move the camera because I want you guys to have a better view. Let me see if I can. I think I have. Unfortunately, that's the space that I have at the moment because I usually use my my tripod far away and I put it on this side, but something happened to where I attached the phone, so unfortunately I won't be able to do it that way. So I'm just gonna rip off one from here, and I'm going to stay with this piece and then use this piece for like when I do the washes and stuff. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to wet the entire canvas. I said canvas, but it is the paper. So we're just gonna wet the whole thing. And I'm wetting it to a point that is about to run all over the place, but not quite. So that's how much water I'm actually putting in. I really don't know if that will help with the information that I'm giving, that help of how much water I'm actually using. But if you can tell on the camera, it's pretty humid. And I'm also doing a second layer of water. Notice that I am basically just doing it upside down. Okay, this watercolor paper is pretty much stretched, so you really don't need to stretch it. It's already on a block, basically glued together. Just going to show you. So it comes glued from both sides. Okay, so that's what you see. All right, I'm just gonna put it here and we're going to start developing the sky. So the picture that I was using, I got it from Shutterbox or Shutterstock. It's the picture that I'm using. I don't know if you can see. It has a lot of blues. It's very beautiful, and it is not easy. Okay, so I'm just gonna use my watercolor brush here. Just gonna. Felt a little stiffy. Just want to make sure that I don't have no traces of paint because I can ruin what I'm doing since I'm going to be laying so many layers of watercolor. So what I'm doing here is basically just waking up that watercolor that I just threw in there, and to this I'm going to be layering several blues. So we're just gonna throw in a couple blues in here. All right, and we're gonna play a little. We have a chance to play with all these colors because it's pretty wet. All right, then I'm going to separate, just like I did with the previous painting. I'm going to try to make that yellow away from, because we said that if the yellow touches the blue, it will turn green, and we don't want green, right? Okay, sorry for the noise in the background, but I paint from home and this is a small apartment, so you can hear my crazy husband in the background laughing. But that's good though. That means that he's happy. I'm going to, you're gonna see me switching back and forth, which is okay. Just gonna get a hint of a little darker, and I'm just going to start developing some of the clouds that I see on the foreground. Now, since we're doing this, you don't really have to do things like precisely the same, but something similar. Okay, another thing is that for me, it's very uncomfortable because I don't consider myself a landscape painter at all. I'm more a floral person, and I like flowers. However, I don't know, I tried landscapes before and I really like how they look in watercolor. Like, I think it's really something very beautiful, so I don't mind seeing them in watercolor. Okay, so what I'm doing here is just re-wetting that area, and I'm going to just blot out just a little bit from the top part, just kind of like forming clouds, etc., etc., right? This is the only time that I will mess with the painting. And over here, I'll do on this side. I think for me, the most difficult part is, because it's watercolor, so it's not like you're painting in oil. So for me, the most difficult part is making it, I feel like less is better. And especially when it comes to watercolors, like I don't want to mess it up because I want to keep adding color, when I believe 100% that less color you add, much better for you, or less that you do and maneuver, the better for you. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's how I feel that this kind of works out. Okay, I'm just gonna cover just a hint of here because it has a lot of color. I think that what really caused me to be mesmerized at the picture is like the dark, how to mimic that dark in watercolors. I'm just stumbling a little bit in this area so I can form a cloud. However, another thing is that I don't want to do, like, I don't think it's necessary to do things exactly like you see, but to have an understanding, I guess, of what you want. And I believe also is how much you kind of like handle the water issue when it comes to watercolors. I think that on the landscape, that's the part that I feel like I need the most help with. Like, I don't want to overpower with different washes and stuff like that. So I feel like that's the reason why I say less is better. Like, you really don't need to go overboard with color. Watercolor kind of just is just a very subtle. It's very subtle, so, or it depends on what you want to achieve, but that's what I think. You don't need to go overboard with color. Okay. Then now I'm going to go and add. Just want to make sure that I clean the brush before I dump it or throw it in my yellow, because I want that yellow to really pop, and I really don't want it to be too light. I think that the yellow is what brings this painting together, and the whole landscape itself just looks much better with the yellow. Okay, whatever I think that I'll just take out. Okay, I'm gonna make sure that I don't have no traces of yellow on my brush. The reason why is because of the green color, right? We don't want it to be green, so I want to make sure that I completely blot it out of my brush. Sorry, sometimes I stay a little like oof. It's because I'm also thinking. Okay. I think that's the part that it was hard to understand when I was doing the sketch, how to mimic the sky without pouring in too much water. I think that was the part that gave me like it was hard for me. So we're going to now do the bottom part. Now I'm going to use with the same brush, but instead of using like a purple or something like that, what I'm doing is that I'm mixing in a bit of purple, and I'm adding a hint of black to it. And the reason why is, of course, is because of the yellow that I have on the bottom part. So I'm just gonna come here again, and I'm just going to okay, and we're going to with our brush, and I think that's like the easiest thing so far. I got a hint of that black. You can use also some blue. Mind you that I already have like a bunch of colors in my palette, so almost like a mud. I'm doing the same thing that I did for my other painting or my sketch. What I kind of just, whatever is closer to me, I'm making it darker. Just gonna twist it to your view so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so whatever is towards me, I'm adding more dark color. Now, I'm a bit hesitant when it comes to the clouds that are on the bottom part, so I'm just gonna omit that for now. I'm gonna go back and clean up as much as I can any trace of color, because I want to leave my brush as clean as possible. Again, because of, you know, mixture of different colors. So we're just gonna come here. I'm just gonna tell that water to go here, and I'm just gonna go back there. Okay. I really like those landscape that have like that, I don't know, some people call it cauliflower effect, but I really like it. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm just gonna wet my brush right where the line of the distant mountains is, and I'm adding some water to it. I'm just gonna go and lift this up a little bit. Okay, and I'm just basically just redirecting the water to go up, and we're just gonna and then over here the same thing. So depending on the effect that you want, then that's what you can do. Just going around like that. All right. Now, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but this watercolor paper is a little bit more resistant to the one that I used before, which is a 98 pound. So because of that, then I can add a little bit more washes, but it's still not as hard or as strong as a cotton rag. I don't know if I explain that. So you still have to be a little bit careful as how many washes and how many layers of water you're actually throwing in. So I'm just going with intuition, because like I said, I am really not a landscape painter. Okay, just gonna throw in some of the yellow around it just to make it cool. I don't know, like just one of those little spritz of yellow here and there, but not too much because we have a blue background. Okay. All right. Because I really like that flow and the watercolor, I'm going to also add a hint of reddish color, and that's gonna go on this side because that's where I have the most water. I'm just gonna make it run. Okay, and notice that I'm just basically just spritzing, not really going crazy with the amount of water that I'm putting in, which is something that before I used to not be that way. Trying to make a form here. Trying to unite both because one side is more purple and then the other one is more bluish. So I'm trying to marry both of them. I'm gonna come back here and add my really dark blue. And you can see, but I'll lower it for you. And then again, we're gonna do this more runny. I want those washes to kind of just marry the painting. I feel that when you do that, you're allowing the washes to go through, or you can see them through. So basically, I've been painting this wet into wet, so that's what you see, and I will kind of just marry the background with the sky. So little by little, I'm just adding more and more color. And then again, if I went overboard, I just pick up with my brush. Okay, so this is pretty wet, and of course it's not going to allow me to do much at the moment. Okay, so I'm just gonna go to the bottom part and add more dark. Again, a hint of black, that purple. I'm gonna go down again. So notice that for this paper, we're less worried, I guess. And if something, let's say this one went down, that's okay. I like that kind of like unruly of the watercolor. And just with the tip of my paper, I'm just basically just folding it, and this is, I don't know if I can just, it's just like tapping, not really, just picking up part of the watercolor, but not everything. I really want to keep that water runny, because I think that I have to think also about how it's going to get, how is it gonna dry. So that's why I don't worry much about that stuff. So for now, we're gonna leave it like that. I'm just gonna go just run it back and forth. So I'm watching these two, and that's okay. I don't mind. Okay. And I also mostly watching this area on the top part, and that's also okay. A lot of people are a little scared because of that fact. You can't control once it's like all over the place. But like you say, you know, if you panic, I think that's gonna make it worse. Again, just blotting out whatever I think that is really not gonna help me. So not the whole entire painting is being blot out, just the part that I think is going to, that I need to. So I'm just gonna clean my brush. Just wanna make sure that whatever comes out of it is completely dry. Clean. I'm gonna go now with a round brush, and we're gonna do like little clouds here and there, and wait a little bit until the top part of our sky gets dry. Okay. I'm going in with that blue, hint of black, hint of purple, hint of red. And I'm going to go back to the bottom part. And I feel like only with watercolor you get this grainy side. Like I've seen a look-alike with oils, but watercolors only can give you that, what I'm looking for, and I really like and appreciate it. So right now I'm just basically just scrubbing my brush, and the first one I went a little bit, I feel like I went a little bit overboard with the washes, like the washes for that. So that's the reason why I'm just being very careful on the bottom part, because I think that if you overwhelm the bottom part and you have the sky a little less high pitch, then you really can mess up the painting. So since I already have that experience with the first sketch, then I'm going a little bit slower with the bottom part. As much as I would like to tell you that you can do a beautiful painting in half an hour or so, I must admit that in order for you to create something beautiful, specifically if it has to do with art, you have to take your time. That's something that it's sometimes difficult to swallow, because I am that type of person. I'm extremely impatient. I want it now. So I've learned that regardless of how much I want to rush things and have it my way, in order for me to have and be satisfied with something, I need to take my time. So that's something that I learned with the way I'm painting. Like, I really want to rush things, and I want to do my paintings in a brisk of a second, because I'm probably thinking about time and etc. But I realized that good things take time. And so regardless of how much I would like to rush things and to hurry things, I must admit that unless I don't take my time, I won't be successful. So yeah, that's a hard lesson, especially for me, to recognize that it's a big issue with time. So yeah, I know we want to, like, I want to be done in 1 minute because I want to move on to the next painting, and time is scarce, you know. But the reality of is that if I do not wait, then it's just not gonna go. It's just not gonna go the way I want to. So by taking my time, I know that perhaps I'll get to a better point. Another thing is, and I think that's something that it's also hard to admit, is, and I cannot believe it, but I still have that daunting thinking of, oh, I need to make it perfect. Not even if I know and I'm just not doing everything, like I know that I'm making my mistakes, etc., etc. I still have a little bit of, and I think that's not good for anybody. So I have to learn that not everything is perfect or has to be perfect, that I have to understand that I'm allowed to make mistakes, and regardless of what my inner self wants to think, I have to let go of that thinking of perfectionism. It's just not good. It's not good for me, for you, for anybody. I mean, for some maybe, I don't know, but it's just not for me. So I'm just gonna make sure that the watercolor runs where I want it to, and remember that it's going to keep on drying, so you'll be able to add more to it. I don't want no hard edges anywhere, because it's just not good. I'm just blotting out part of like the background, since it's pretty wet. I'm able to take some out. That's gonna help me with my painting. And of course I'm actually where you're listening. I'm actually doing the, oh my god. So for the, I guess, last layer, I'm using a Kolinsky. Not necessarily has to be a Kolinsky, but you can actually use what we called a matte brush. Now I really don't have, like, I was looking and I'm like, wait a second, I really don't own any matte brushes, and I was wondering why, and it's because I really don't do landscapes. But I don't know, I just don't have any. So I'm using this little Polinsky. This is the number 8, and it could be useful as a matte brush because it's all like same. So I'm gonna use that. And you probably were wondering, so like, why would you need a matte brush? Well, I want to make these clouds all fluffy and happy, so I might need to add, not everywhere, but some places where just gonna reinforce, so when you look at it you see, oh yeah, that's a cloud. So that's what we're gonna do. In different places, not everywhere. And it would be nice if I had like 2 of these. Okay. And I'm just gonna, like, just like the word says it, just map it to the top part. It's basically forming that cloud. I don't know if I explained myself good or not, but that's what we're doing. So basically I'm just reinforcing anything that I feel that it will look good if I added a little bit more pigment here and there. Okay. So you notice that I'm not going everywhere, just some dots here and there that I think will reinforce the sky and will allow the person that is watching, oh yeah, that is a cloud right there. Okay. And just like if you were mopping, same thing. I'm doing, just spreading some of the water, just helping. Adding a little bit more watercolor. I'm gonna go back to that yellow. Now I'm gonna go back again with my really dark mixture. I'm just gonna okay. And same thing here. I'm just gonna use something with a tip. Just spread that. believe this is cerulean blue. Just gonna add just a bit, very tiny. Just wanna make sure that I don't have too much. I actually have too much. So let me just wet it out. Now remember that the more you mix and match your colors, you always have to be careful because it's still pretty wet, so you don't want to make that blue-green. Just want the corner to be a little bit less. I'm gonna come back with my black and purple. Now, one last, I just got stuck. One last wash. And now I have to be a little bit more straighter. Okay. Right. Gonna scumble just a bit over here because I can see it forming from afar and it's really not helping. Just a bit. Like I said, I do like that little what we call broccoli effect on my painting. I don't know what it is. I feel like it helps it, but some people might not like it. Like I said, this is going to dry, so it will be a little lighter, so I can use and reinforce a bit more if I wanted to, but thus far that's good. Just gonna turn it over so you guys can see. And let's just cover this area here because that's just basically a corner and it's really not helping anybody. In the corner over here. Okay. And so I think we did pretty good. Here is the painting, right? Here's the painting. And here is the sketch. So here's the sketch, and here's my painting. Right, so once it dries up, I'm not gonna bother it. I want to go back to its size. Once it dries up, I'm going to take it off from here, or prior to that, maybe not yet, I don't know, maybe I add just a tad bit of wash just cause it's my liking. That's something that I like to do with my work, my paintings, my watercolors, and because it looks really, really nice. It takes a little bit more time to dry, so I really don't want to take more time for the video. Another thing that I was going to let you guys know is that these videos are actually being posted on YouTube. I'm doing all I can to post good tutorials as much as I can. I'm actually using my phone. It's, for me, it's like an adventure, something new. I continue to, or plan to continue to post them, and with the sole purpose of, I guess, mainly, of course, you know, part of it is promote my work and promote myself, etc., but also because I love to teach and I love to create. And another thing that I wanted to let you guys know is that if you are here from actual YouTube and you would like to see the full demo, if for whatever reason I do not post the entire painting or post the entire video, because for some reason if the video is too long, it just, I don't know if it's because of I'm doing it from my phone, it just doesn't allow me to post it. I feel like the idea of doing this is to learn as well from my own mistakes. And I don't know, like I feel like when I see an artist, and even if they do a great job, or they actually struggle doing something, I feel like I can relate to them. So if that you're that type of person, or you are looking for something new, you know, welcome. And like I said, you know, I don't strive. I've learned with I learn as I practice, and I learn of my, I don't know how to call them, but I learn of my, like I saw that on my personality, that I wanted to, like I want to be so too much into details or do this, like, so it really is just really not working. It's to the point that blocks me. And also another thing that I used to do is compare myself, which is not good at all. I feel like each to their own, like we have our own style, all of us have a different style. So you might be developing your style, you don't even know. And if you choose to compare yourself to somebody else, then I feel like you'll never be satisfied with your own work, because it's just not gonna look the same as the other person. So never compare yourself to other people. Like I learned that with the years and the time painting. Another thing is that, you know, my own frustrations in life for X, Y, Z reasons, and I feel like all those things, like I've learned, like I noticed that I wanted to paint quick and do hundreds and hundreds of work, perhaps because I needed to, and also because it was a different time for me, and I guess necessity was forcing me to think more about production rather than quality. And it's just not always good, because I'm still fighting with it to not think more production rather than quality. I learned that, you know, like I said, good things take time, regardless if I could do 100 paintings in less than 3 or 4 hours. It's really how I feel, and I know that could give me more money, but I might not produce what I'm capable of because I'm rushing to do to do or to make ends meet. It is a struggle. I feel like with everybody, including myself, it is a struggle. It's you know, if you are full-time doing this, and hopefully you're not always on a time schedule, because I don't feel like it's just not healthy. I don't know what it is. So that's one thing that I noticed about myself, and I'm glad that is over. And of course, you know, I can compare just doing it for the fun of it and just doing it because I want to paint, than doing it because if I don't paint, I don't eat. So there's a big difference. And if you are in a situation then, and you have to rush yourself to be able to do 3 or 4 paintings, you know, do what you gotta do. But for me, I feel like that was something that it wasn't making me a happy camper at all. And yeah, so but that's what I've been learning, and I'm just glad that I no longer feel that way, because it was like really messing with me. And I think I had the conversation with someone about, you rather do quality or quantity, and I couldn't understand at the moment what he was talking about, but then now I understand it. I don't know, there's like different, like if I was a full-time artist and I know that I have to do a certain amount of paintings a day because, you know, I'm selling them for this much money or whatever, like that part of business type thinking, I don't know, like it's kind of like iffy. So what else I learned? I learned a couple things. This is the reason why I'm sharing this. No rushing vlog with you guys. And yeah, that's what's up. I also downloaded a couple of pictures, but they are on this phone, not that phone. So gonna try them in watercolors. And I was talking about the matte brush. I actually got myself a matte brush from the store. I'm going to show you so you guys know what a matte brush is. Even though I know you guys are smart, and you guys know what a matte brush is. Just that this baby right here is essential if you want to do clouds in acrylics as well as in oils, because this baby right here is like a buffer, and it is called just like that. It's called a goat mop. This one I got it from AC Moore, and this is a mop brush. Okay, so what I do with this thing is that, let's say we're painting in acrylics, right? I use this brush and I do my swirls, and I kind of just buff out part of the painting. The cool thing is that in both mediums, acrylics and also in oils, you can use mop brushes, and this is like the best time saver. And I don't know why I didn't had any for acrylics, so I went and got it. This baby right here, feels so good. This is like how much was it? I'll show you right now. I'll tell you the price. Now I have a 55% coupon because I'm that type of person and I don't have much money, so I'm sorry. Okay, let's see how much is it. All this paper, right? Okay, so the matte brush was, where are you? The matte brush was, okay, I don't understand this receipt. Okay, so this is for the acrylic. The acrylic was $17. I know it's so expensive. And the brush was $4. So that baby was $4. And since I had the 55% coupon, the brush is $2.50 and the acrylic bottle or acrylic tube was $8.20. Not that bad. Not that bad at all. So that's my price. So yeah, this is a matte brush. So I'm gonna be using this for my next project in acrylics, and it feels so good. All right, okay, you guys, thank you again for watching. If you come here from Twitter and you're watching, I have my broadcast. Only the people that follow me can comment, because, or the people that I follow comment, because I wanted to keep strictly into the topic. And if you're here from YouTube, thank you for watching. This is the full demo. And if you were wondering the type of colors that I use, I'm using, believe, all Holbein colors, except, I'm not gonna lie, not Holbein, they're all Holbein, and core watercolors. So that purplish tone on the bottom is actually core, which is pretty potent, as you can tell. And you see how it is little by little settling down and becoming lighter. So that's a good thing. And what else I was gonna do? That's it. We are done with the demo. So thank you again. If you haven't followed me yet, you can go onto my Twitter. I am in Twitter most of the time, at least in the morning I am, since I'm also working. And on Periscope I come from time to time and I do art demos of different things. I do landscapes now and florals. I also do still lifes, which is pretty fun doing them in watercolors. So I got to go. Thank you again for the time and for watching. And also, what else I was gonna say? That's it. See you guys around. Hope that you guys learned something. The photo that I used was from shutterstock.com, and even though I'm not that crazy about them, because they have this big Shutterstock photo right in the middle, but I could see part of it clear and loud, so that's what I focused on. So Pixabay is another really good resource out there where I go and get my pictures from, and I not always use photographs for like reference. I can also sometimes paint from memory. Depends. Depends. Alrighty, my friends, thank you again. Thank you for stopping by and for listening to my shenanigans. I'll see you guys in the next. Bye bye.